YouTube, everybody. Hey, Erica Zhao here. Zhao Chicka Bow Wow. This is... Introduce yourself. What? Yes!
Oh,
Zhao
Chicka
Chicka
Bow
Bow Wow.
Wow.
Okay, we got
Oh, my
Doja Cat, Megan Thee Stallion. I get to be Zhao Chicka Bow Wow, okay?
Alright, so
Ray
then...
is nasty. Like Rico, you get that? You get it?
Okay, I guess I'm Ray is nasty.
This is Natasha Reyes. We are going to do a murder mystery and not makeup because I don't do makeup, but we're gonna do my hair, whatever. The case that we're
No, continue.
the case that we're going to go over today is the Chris Watts family annihilator story, because this one here has only seen the Netflix documentary, and I have been following the case since within a week of it happening. So
I have, like, a life, just putting that out there.
my life is just less filled by other people than hers is. That's all. It doesn't mean that my life is any less fulfilled in general. So here's where we would have a sponsor if I had a sponsor. Please subscribe. Subscribe, like, and comment. So, back in 2018, August 13th, Chris Watts killed his whole family. That is his wife, Shanann, their unborn son, Nico, their two daughters, Bella and Celeste. Bella was 4 and Celeste was 3. So the morning of August 13th, Shanann had just returned from a business trip around a little before 2 a.m. Chris said that she'd gone to bed. He was lying awake in bed, thinking about his life being miserable, and so he decided to wake up Shanann and tell her about it and how he was feeling unfulfilled in their marriage and he wanted to have a divorce. And they apparently had sex at one point between the time she came home and the time that he killed her. He killed her with manual strangulation, so he put his hands around her neck and just squeezed the life out of her because she had been threatening to get full custody of the children when they divorced. That is the most truthful answer we have to his motive. He also lied to the cops and his father before he confessed fully to the cops that she had actually killed both of their daughters, and he had discovered it, come upon it as it was happening, and that's why she killed her. Which, that's one thing to do, I suppose.
Bullshit!
The truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, he strangled his wife and then put her dead body wrapped in a sheet into the back of his truck, carried both of his daughters into the back of his truck, seatbelted them, and drove off while they had to be there, existing with their dead mother's body at their feet for the whole 40-some minute drive from their home to a job site of his company, which was an oil company, Anadarko Oil. And that's where he then strangled each of them, smothered them, essentially. What?
I feel like you're missing, like, the big point here. He's fucking crazy. Just gonna put that out there.
Yes.
Okay.
So he strangled them. He covered their faces in possibly the sheet that the mother was wrapped in or something, and strangled them so he didn't have to watch their face while they died.
It's totally not possibly.
And then after they were dead, he walked up the stairs of these giant oil drums. I'm not sure if drums is the appropriate word. I don't know what ever. And he had to stuff them into these small openings. Small as in like
He didn't have to do anything. He definitely did it by choice.
He decided to stuff their little bodies into these tiny openings so that their bodies would be destroyed by the caustic raw oil that was being stored in these huge containers above ground. And he also dug a shallow grave and buried his dead wife with their unborn son in there. several feet away from where he'd parked their car, quite a few hundred feet away from the openings of these oil drums where he had pushed both of the... They were separate. There were two separate ones. So he had to go upstairs to one and push one daughter's body in, go downstairs, back to the car to another dead body, pick that dead body up, go to the other staircase, go up the stairs, put that body in, and then come back down to the car. So that was great. So the reason that all of this came to light is some people say Chris Watts was a smart murderer, and some people say he's one of the dumbest murderers.
He's
ever
stupid!
existed. Because there's no question that it was planned in some way. It's the matter of how planned was it. For me, I think it was not planned well enough, because if you plan on getting away with murder, you don't not know that your pregnant wife's schedule includes, you know, appointments at a medical professional for her pregnancy. She's already high risk because she apparently had lupus and had 2 other children, so she's already just high risk. So she was 15 weeks pregnant at the time. She had a OBGYN appointment that morning. He either didn't know or didn't care. Didn't think that her missing a business meeting with her friends or whatever, coworkers or whatever, would not raise a red flag. He didn't know that one of her friends, Nicole Atkinson, by the way, what if you saw the cops' body cam video? You'd be like, this girl is a good friend, okay? Reyes, I don't ever expect you to come see if I ever went missing or anything, like to come check on me, but I think I need a friend like that. I should get a friend like that.
It's not me.
So, the Shanann's friend Nicole Atkinson was not getting any contact with Shanann, so she drove to their home, looked through the windows, called everyone she knew, all her friends, her parents, and whatnot, called Chris, didn't get an answer or something, or didn't get any concern from him, rather, and so she called the cops. Her son was there also, by the way, which is gonna come into play a little later. She calls the cops. The cop comes, calls Chris. Chris was not far away, so Chris gets there within 5 or 10 minutes or something, very, very close. He unlocks the garage door. He runs in to go through the home to get to the front door to unlock it for them. It takes a little longer than you would expect for him to get through the house to get to the front door, because it should have taken all of 30 seconds, but it seemed to take much longer if you saw the body cam footage from the policeman who came to do the welfare check. So he unlocks the door. They all head inside. Nicole and her son and the cop follow Chris up the stairs. They check all the rooms. Chris comes out with Shanann's phone, her wedding ring, her purse is still there, all their medications. The children also had medications.
Did you mention the blanket? He at one point said, and he, talking about incriminating, all right? He said, my daughter doesn't go anywhere without her blanket, so I don't understand.
Their marital bed was stripped. I'm very not empathetic.
What?
I don't believe that body language or what you do or don't say during an interview necessarily has anything to do with, it's not necessarily incriminating, right? But I do have to say, in this case, his body language was very obviously, holy shit, I cannot believe that they caught on to me so fast.
That best friend, she was
very on it.
She was like, she has a doctor's appointment.
So many questions.
She missed her doctor's appointment.
Her
car's in the driveway.
Her car was in the garage.
In the garage, yes.
That another thing, the car was in the garage, and Chris is gonna say some shit like he must have taken the girls to the park or something.
How?
The car's in the garage.
How?
She's pregnant.
She used her shovel legs.
She
walked her ass to the park.
She got home at almost 2 a.m. in the morning, and she's gonna take these little girls to the park. I mean, she could, but
I'm sorry. Who has the energy to do that shit? Kids are like
right?
a pain to begin
Right?
with.
And then, so the cop, you know, he calls out to the neighbors, have you seen, you know, so-and-so with the 2 kids, you know, she's pregnant, we're concerned, yada yada. And so one of the neighbors actually has security cameras outside of his house that is angled in such a way that you can see like a bit of the corner of the garage and in parts of the driveway and where people would walk, the pathway from the front door out to the driveway and some of the lawn, right? So they all, on camera, all 3, Chris, the neighbor, and the cop, go into the neighbor's house to see what was recorded on his surveillance, and you could see that the only person that left the house was Chris and his truck. Now, again, that doesn't necessarily mean that Shanann and the children couldn't have left the house a different way that you just wouldn't have seen because of the angle of the surveillance camera. However, you can see like the pathway of where you would walk to the driveway from the front door. Who doesn't take their pathway, right? And some of the lawn, the grass, if you're going to cut through the grass, you're going to see them.
It was like he already knew.
If you're going to go around the house from the back door to the front area to go to the park, you're going to see them somewhere, somehow. Like 80%. Almost 80%,
yeah.
You're going to see them somehow leaving the house. Unless they just so happen to crawl out of a window on the blind side of the camera
totally so
and then went around to make sure they were still in the blind spots of the camera. No one does that. No one does that. First off, if Chris didn't know that the neighbor had surveillance cameras, you think Shanann did? And if she knew, she's gonna crawl out a window and go around with the kids. First off, she's pregnant. She's gonna crawl out the window and get the kids out the window while she's pregnant to go around to all the blind spots of the surveillance cameras of the neighbors so that she could just not be seen while she's taking them to the park. Like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Anyways, so, again, Chris Watts' body language. He was dying while they were viewing that video. The body cam footage from the cop, when he was, no matter what your nerves are, right? I get it. You could be sweating out of nowhere. I get it. You could be sweating out of nowhere.
If my wife was missing, alright, I would be like, what the fuck, like, oh my god, where, my wife, my fucking kids, my pregnant wife, panic, some sort of...
What could have happened? What are the statistics? Like, hey, cop
nobody
dude.
thinks statistics when their spouse is missing, you idiot.
I don't know.
But like,
I feel like, I don't know, like, cop dude, like, what are the chances that there's something wrong? Like, what if, in your experience, what have you seen? Like, does this police department deal with missing persons a lot? I don't know, something. Questions of, I don't know. I'm not the most empathetic, sympathetic, or compassionate person, so I don't know what a normal person would do.
Me, I would fucking rip the town apart trying to find my spouse and my kids. Because that's what a normal person does. You don't wake up and your wife is just magically... Like, just the lie alone was just ridiculous. Oh my god. The lying. He's a sociopath. It's obvious.
He was cooperative. So, August 13th is when the murders occurred. Early morning of August 13th. By August 15th, they had gotten him into an interrogation room and done a polygraph test on him, after which they were like, bruh, you lying. All of the things you said, we're just gonna assume everything you say is a lie. You're gonna be under arrest for something or other, so why don't you just tell us the truth? Just tell us the truth. Just tell us. Just tell us. Just tell us. He decides that he asks for his father. He wants to talk to his father first before he tells the cops anything. And so the cops are like, all right. So they get his father in, and this is still being recorded in the interrogation room. So, he confesses to his dad that Shanann had actually strangled the children, and he killed her after the fact, which doesn't make any sense, especially when he was talking about the fact that he had woken her up and talked about the divorce, and like none of it made sense.
Not a damn thing.
None of it. But yeah, the cops, figured out quite quickly, he'd had an affair with this woman at work.
That wasn't an affair. It was a full-blown relationship. Situationship.
They had been together for 5 weeks, I believe, at that point. They were both obviously very lovey-dovey because Shanann had been gone for over a week or something to visit his family, by the way. She visited his family.
His horrible mom, who's
my
snarky
God.
and annoying and rude and horrible.
She is not a good mother-in-law. She is not a good mother-in-law. I can see, I don't know, man. His family did not go to his wedding to Shanann. So I don't know why she kept trying to. I do understand, you want your children to know their grandparents, but if my mother-in-law were like that, they don't need to see my children. They don't know. Well, first off, I wouldn't have married a dude whose family didn't like me, whose family I couldn't get along with either. Like, that's not something I would do.
I don't think you would marry anyone in general.
And anyway, so, yeah, they didn't go to their wedding.
Alright, that's one less mouth to feed. Those places are pretty expensive, especially at catering.
Just, their whole relationship is very strange to me because they met over Facebook. They'd been together 8 years, I believe, at that point. She'd actually done a Facebook Live because she was a part of the, Thrive MLM, multi-level marketing company. And she did a lot of social media to promote the company and try and get sales and recruit people under her so that she could have, so she could earn money. And a few, 2 or 3 months before the murders occurred, she'd actually explained her whole relationship with Chris, how they had met through Facebook. She had just gotten her lupus diagnosis. She had to go and do a colonoscopy or something?
It was
a colonoscopy, and he was there for it. She was like, oh, the fact that he cared to go to the hospital and, wait for me during my colonoscopy really told me how much he would, blah, blah, blah. She said some shit like, he broke down my walls and was there at my saw me at my worst or something and loved me despite it or something. I was just thinking, that sounds like love bombing, where you get super serious, super intense, super quickly, and you should never trust anyone who does that.
Oh God, it starts.
Right? You're the psychology person, or you're trying to be the psychology person. Don't you agree?
Oh, me.
Yes, you!
Oh, in case you guys didn't know, so I don't think we've ever explained our dynamic.
We are colleagues.
We are colleagues that apparently I bleach her hair or something. So, oh God, this shit stinks. So we work together and we talk about stuff like this all the time. By the way.
Because we sometimes share one brain cell and we happen to enjoy true crime a great deal.
A little bit more than
normal people might.
Yeah, that's societal okay, standards and all
that's
that.
That's okay. That's what we got YouTube for.
I'm just saying, go YouTube. So,
also the mother of Christopher Watts, who I will be directing most of my statement to. First, I'd like to begin by recognizing the absolute horror of this crime and acknowledging the devastating loss that both the Rusek family as well as our family have faced. Our families have been irreparably broken by the needless deaths of Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico. This is something we will never get over. We will always mourn the loss of our family, and in that, we are united in our grief. I am still struggling to understand how and why this tragedy occurred. I may never be able to understand and accept it, but I pray for peace and healing for all of us. Now to my son, Christopher. I have known you since the day you were born into this world. I have watched you grow from a quiet and sweet, curious child who Bella reminded me so much of, to a young man who worked hard in sports and later mechanics to achieve your goals. You were a good friend, brother, father, and son. We have loved you from the beginning, and we still love you now. This might be hard for some to understand, how I can sit here under these circumstances and tell you, although we are heartbroken, although we can't imagine what could have led us to this day, but we love you. Maybe you can't believe it either. As the Lord said in Jeremiah 3:31, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, I have continued my faithfulness to you. And you, as your mother, Chris, I have always loved you, and I still do. I hate what has happened. Your father and sister and I are struggling to understand why. But we will remain faithful as your family, just as God remains faithful because of his unconditional love for all.
I don't know if I can. We got another 2 minutes of this, and
I'm over it. I'm sorry.
it's
I can't.
killing me what she's saying.
No, like, I get it. I understand from, a parent is always going to be a parent.
You're gonna love your child and all that. However, this is his murder trial, where he definitely killed 4 people, and this is a victim impact statement. And other than the preface where she said, obviously as the grandparents to the children and all that, the moment after that, it became all about her and him and them, and that was it.
I mean,
It was very strange. I'm sorry, that's very strange. I have enough self-awareness, maybe, to know that if I were thinking that, I would know better than to be like, nah, I'm gonna say this shit out loud in court for the record. I would not do that. I would know better. All right, we got 2 more minutes of this.
So, we love you. And we forgive you.
Yo, what if you got that shit in my eye? Oh, do I look like I look like Leia.
Judge, if I
He's a
could
little-
read Mr. Watt's statement.
yeah, that's exactly what
My name
you
is
look
Ronnie
like.
Watts,
Instead of,
and I am the
trash
grandfather
bag on
of
my
Bella,
head.
Celeste, Nico Watts, and I am the father of
Why do
Shannon.
they keep zooming in on him?
I am the father of Christopher Watts as well. And one of the most important things I've done in my life is to raise my children and to watch as they started their own families. I spent many years coaching Little League
But he
and
killed
talking
his.
to my
His
son,
family.
taking him to the races, and sharing my love and knowledge of cars with him.
The weird thing, I think, is the fact that they keep using the present tense when it comes to these murdered persons, instead of just saying was. They keep pretending that they're like still alive, even though
What baffles me is that they're pretending as if he didn't murder.
they
Like,
keep pretending like it
I
happened to
understand
him.
they keep saying, yeah, like he's the victim in all this.
They
like,
really make it. They're really trying to make it like something bad happened to him, as opposed to he happened to other people.
because he happened to other people.
He-
Just in case
yeah.
you guys get that confused.
Yeah.
He happened to his own family.
Right.
Like, he did that for people.
Anyway, so the lawyer is
How could she keep a straight face that entire time?
she has to.
Ugh.
So the lawyer, or the family's lawyer, or victim advocate person or whatever, is reading the statement for Ronnie Watts, the father of Chris Watts.
He was just as involved with his girls. I believe he loves his girls.
See?
I know he
Present
does.
tense. Present
This
tense.
tragedy has impacted my family
Tragedy?
in so many ways.
It's not a car
This-
accident, people.
This tragedy has affected my family in so many ways. What was more appropriate would have been my son's murder of my
Why would they say
daughter-in-law
that?
and grandchildren
Why would
has
they say that?
affected
That
my
makes
fa-
sense.
right? Again, I wouldn't have spoken in this sentencing hearing or trial or anything. I would not have done
That
that.
just makes sense, dude.
And losing my precious grandchildren, our beloved daughter-in-law, we are forced to question
Beloved daughter-in-law, they didn't even go to her wedding.
everything. We still don't have all the answers, and I hope one day, Christopher, you can help us.
They do have all the answers. He was having an affair, decided he didn't want the wife and children to mess with his new life, obviously. I mean, don't get me wrong, all his reasons are reasons.
They're solid. You know, I think what everybody is like so stuck on. I mean, let's do this. I'm gonna do this. Are you ready? I'm gonna do this. He is a middle-class white male. Middle-class attractive white male.
Then, I mean, he got buffed up, sure.
Honestly, no, I'm sorry. The more attractive you are, I mean, did we not all watch Chicago? Did we not learn lessons from the musical Chicago?
True.
Which was based on real life situations in the 20s. So, like, the more attractive you are, the more you turn it into a dramatic spectacle.
Right.
The more of a chance you're going to gain, you know, trial by media. You're going to gain the judgment or the sympathies of the public, which is what, I mean, look at this man. He
was a loving father,
love it.
husband.
Amazing
He
husband.
was very supportive.
So
Which he
dedicated.
was. He was.
Dedicated enough to kill them.
But
Like,
he reached a breaking point, for sure. There's no question that, I mean, they had experienced a bankruptcy not too long ago, maybe, in the last year or 3 or something. It's reasonable to be frustrated with a spouse who continuously is not the most financially responsible. I mean, they got pregnant again. She got pregnant and decided to keep the child, which is a
let's
financial
pause
burden.
and rewind. She did not get pregnant. They got pregnant.
Okay, they
Because
got
it
pregnant.
takes two to tango.
However, she definitely decided to keep the child knowing that they were not in the best financial position.
It's her choice.
It is.
I hear the judgment as you're saying it.
It's not
Not people
judgment.
like
It's
kids,
not
okay?
unreasonable to understand
Jesus,
why.
Erica.
It's not unreasonable to understand why you might be frustrated as you are the main breadwinner and your spouse is in a multi-level marketing scheme working at home while still paying for childcare. She was having other people look after her children while she was a stay-at-home mom.
So I used to be a nanny, and I completely get it. Because sometimes you just need a break from those little shitlings, all right?
All I'm saying
Because they
is-
are horrible.
all I'm
They're
saying-
needy. They shit everywhere. She
All
needs a
I'm
break
saying
too. She is
is-
a woman, an individual. She is an individual that needs
This is
individual
fine.
time.
That's fine.
Self-care is the best care. Putting that out there. Take care of yourself, people.
That's fine. But it's understandable that you would get frustrated when a spouse, a life partner, is going to be not the most financially responsible. All of the reasons are reasons, okay? However, murder is not the option you go to.
Nah.
Um,
I mean, unless you... Nope, wait. let me
unless
not
you can
say
get
that.
away with it. What? Unless you could get away with it.
Oh my god.
So obviously oh my god, we're not even done. We have another minute.
I'm sorry, but
of
I'm
Ronnie's
totally
statement.
over that video. I like to watch the video of him when he was like talking about like, oh no, maybe she left. Like I find that like to be
Chris.
the best video.
I want to talk to you as a father and son. You are here today accepting responsibility, but I want to tell you this now. I love you. Nothing will ever change that.
They really made
And I want
this
you to
about
find
themselves,
peace.
yo.
And today is your first step.
Want you to
The Bible
find
says
peace?
if we confess our sins, God is faithful and just and will forgive us. Chris, I forgive you, and your sister forgives you, and we will never abandon you.
Wait,
And
hold
we
on.
love you.
Pause.
Dad.
10 more seconds.
Judge, thank you for the opportunity to address.
Okay, go ahead. You're gonna say, who the fuck are you to forgive him for murdering other people? That's true. Not his father's place to forgive his son for murdering people.
Biased motherfuckers. Like,
I'm
they're
telling
so
you.
biased.
The fucking 10 minutes of this, two of these people's victim impact statements are an insult to everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
pretty much.
Everything. And that's not the worst. The other interviews and the other shit that they say after the fact, that's technically not on the record in a judicial sense. It's worse. Cause Cindy Watts, the mother of Chris Watts, even said it, that she did not believe in what the lawyer said in the beginning before she got to speak, which is that all the stuff that she said about the dude's taking responsibility for his actions of murdering his family or some shit like that. She still doesn't believe that it was wrong of him to do it, if you know what I mean. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you... I don't know.
Yo,
Here we are, finished!
This snapping thing works.
Look at how purple this shit is. Alright, comment below.
Yeah, let us know what you think of my hack
Everything.
job.
Everything.
Is it a hack job or should I just hack it off?
No one cuts my hair but myself, so don't worry about that.